In-ear monitoring is a crucial tool for modern worship bands, but it can be tough finding an in-ear monitor system that's both affordable and sounds great. Well, in this video, you're gonna learn about the Behringer P1 personal in-ear monitor amplifier. I'm gonna cover all the pros and cons of this tool and how it just might be what you need to convert your whole band over to in-ears without breaking the bank. Coming up. This video is brought to you by Worship Leader School, where you're going to find all the essential training, advice, and support you need to plan and lead worship. Just click the link in the description or go to worshipleaderschool.com to learn more. My name is Jake Goslin. I'm the creator of Churchfront.com, helping you lead gospel-centered and tech-savvy worship. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your church. And also be sure to check out the show notes below this video for a link to this nifty little tool we're going to talk about today, the Behringer P1 personal in-ear monitor amplifier. So first, let's talk about the hardware. It's a little black box. You can see how big it is in relation to my hand. It kind of looks like a DI box, but this is for in-ear monitoring. So on one side, you have volume control and panning control. You have a headphone output right here, and then you have a mono or stereo selector button right there. And then on the other side of it, this is where you have your XLR inputs, where you're gonna be plugging in your monitor mixes. And since you have the ability to plug in two mixes, you can either have a stereo mix with a left and right inputs, or you could have two mono mixes. When you are in mono mode and you're sending in two separate mixes into this pack, you can actually control which mix you hear more of by panning either to left or right. Left, you'll hear more of mono mix 1, and right, you'll hear more of mono mix 2. You also have a spot to put a battery in this guy, so it can be either battery powered with a 9-volt battery, or it can be powered by an adapter that you can plug into it. But you can use a battery, and from my understanding, the battery power lasts a really long time, like 12 hours or something like that. So you just gotta remember to turn it off when you're done. And lastly, I want to highlight the other side of the pack that has the belt clip on it, so you can literally wear this thing. And then it also has a little place that you could mount it on, like a microphone stand. You could screw something in there. So really cool piece of hardware. And here's how this works. And of course, I'm talking about how you'd want this to work in a worship band environment. We want to have in-ear monitoring so we can hear ourselves better. We can also use a click and tracks, and we have the click just going to our ears and not to the PA system or to floor wedges, because that would sound horrible. So the goal is to send your band members their own individual mixes. And here's how we set this up at our church plant. So we have a digital mixer, the M32, but it's very similar to the X32 or even lower priced digital boards. And that's kind of my first tip, is hopefully by now your church has upgraded to a digital console. They have become so much more affordable in the past couple of years. You can get one for less than $1,000. So if you have a digital console, that's one big thing that's going to help you get this set up. And then also if you have a digital snake that goes along with that digital console. So for the Behringer or Midas boards, the X32 or M32, you can get the S16 or S32 snake, which is going to allow you to have plenty of XLR outputs or return channels to your stage. And this is where a lot of people kind of get tripped up in this whole in-ear monitoring concept and building an in-ear monitor system. The key is you need to have separate mixes and separate feeds sent to your stage for all the individual mixes you want for your band members. So I always recommend, if you can get the X32 digital console with the S16 snake or S32 snake, it's gonna make your life so much easier. And then for in-ear monitoring, all you have to do is spend $50 a piece on these little headphone amplifiers that each of your band members can wear, and you'll have plenty of outputs to send them either, mono mixes, or you can give them each a stereo mix. So we just set this up at our church for our drummer Luke. I use wireless in-ears. We also have the headphone amplifier that sends mono in-ear mixes, but what really intrigued me about this is the ability to give like our drummer or our keyboardist, people who aren't moving a lot on stage, a stereo in-ear mix. It's just gonna sound a lot clearer for them. So all I had to do to set this up was I went to our M32 digital console and then in our mix bus output section, that's the monitor mixes we send to the band, I created 2 mix bus outputs that were gonna be dedicated to the drummer, and I linked them together, so they're actually just gonna be a stereo left and right mix. And then what happens is those 2 mix bus outputs are routed from our digital console through the digital Cat5 cable to the S32 snake that we have on stage, and then we have all those XLR outputs that are available for sending signals to our musicians on stage. So then all I had to do is find a couple extra XLR cables we had lying around and plug one end into the S16 stage box, coming out of the appropriate outputs there to match up with the mix buses that I just assigned at the board. And then I plugged the other end of those XLR cables into this in-ear monitor pack. And then from there, you just turn it on. My drummer Luke just plugs in his headphones and the headphone output here on the pack, and he's ready to roll with a stereo in-ear monitor mix. And the benefits of the stereo mix versus a mono mix is that now when Luke is using the M32Q app to dial in his in-ears, he can actually use the stereo feature now. So maybe he wants the click on the left and the guide cues on the right, or he wants to put the guitars on one side and the tracks on the other side. So it gives you a lot more control, and you're gonna be able to start hearing things a lot more clearly with a stereo in-ear monitor mix. So here's what my drummer Luke had to say after using this guy for the first time.
So crystal clear, it's like night and day. You can tell a huge difference, just being able to pan different things to which side of your ear you would like it in. Like for example, I had Jake's acoustic completely in my right ear because I didn't really want him in my left. So it was just little things like that that just made it, that just did such a difference.
Good job.
Thank you.
So in conclusion, here's a few more tips for helping you decide whether or not this is a good fit for you or for certain band members in your worship team. So I think this is ideal for band members who aren't moving around a lot. I prefer, as a worship leader, a wireless solution because it would be a little bit cumbersome to have, 2 XLRs running into this guy, and I'm like standing and walking around and jumping around, whatever I'm doing during worship, as well as like I already have my guitar cable going out as well. So I'd have like 3 cables I'd be dragging around on stage, and it could be really a cluster really quickly. So I recommend this for like drummers or keyboardists or people who are like at really fixed locations on stage. And before you go buying a bunch of these things, make sure that you have the right sound system in place already. I highly recommend getting an affordable digital console. You don't have to spend more than $1,000 or $2,000 in most cases. And alongside with that digital console, I highly recommend getting a digital snake like the S16 or S32 or any of the comparable digital console and snake setups that you see from Yamaha or PreSonus or Allen & Heath. Because this little guy works best when you have plenty of available monitor mixes that you can actually send to it via XLR cables. I put a link in the description of this video so you can check out and purchase the Behringer P1. I highly recommend it. It really does feel like it's a pretty solid build quality even for being a Behringer product. They've come a long way in the last few years after partnering with Midas. Let me know and others watching this video what your experience has been with the Behringer P1. Just leave a comment below with your love or hate for this piece of hardware. That will help us all be more informed before we go ahead and purchase it. Finally, I want to encourage you to check out Worship Leader School, where you're going to find all the essential training, advice, and support you need to plan and lead worship. Visit worshipleaderschool.com or click the link in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that thumbs up button and share it with your friends in worship ministry. You can check out some related in-ear monitoring videos right over here, and don't forget to subscribe to the Churchfront channel so you can continue to receive all of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your church.